Hi, Bobby. It's lovely to see you. Thank you so much for jumping on, and I hope you've prepared yourself for your quick fire question and answer feature. I'm going to fire straight in. First question for you, sir. Who did you room with when you were at Pataudry? Or who was your best mate? Let's put it that way. Who was your best
Yeah,
mate?
no, my best mate. I think that was fairly easy initially. Anyway, was Davy Miller.
Okay.
Dave, Davy and I played together at Queen's Park and were very, very good friends. In fact, there was three of us. Alec Ingram, Davy Miller, and I were all. They were the sort of three amigos, definitely. And Davy and I signed for Aberdeen in the same day, and so we were. That was a. He still still is a good friend. But and then later on, I suppose it would have been Ian Taylor. You know, Ian and I used to give him a run into Pataudry. His wife would drop him off at my house in the morning because she was a teacher in Aberdeen, and he would be coming in from Cooter in these days. So he would, and then the two of us did our licenses together. We did our B license together, then we did our A license. So Ian Taylor later on, and Davy obviously initially, but Davy left. Davy was only with Aberdeen for 2 years, and then he went to Wraith Rovers. So.
Okay. Who was the snappiest dresser?
Oh, that's easy. It would be Alec Willoughby.
Ah, really?
Alec was immaculate, and he's always precise. And I would be the opposite. I would always wear a sports jacket. You know, I, dress was okay. I always liked to be okay, but that was it. So Alec was the snappiest, very, very sharp young man. And he and I had actually played together we won our first Scottish Cup. It was the under-12 Glasgow East beat Kilmarnock in the final of the schools trophy. So Alec and I go back a long way. And even then, you saw the team photos there. Everybody else was just a boy haircuts, and he had the parting and the brill cream, and Alec was always special, you know.
Who had the most wicked sense of humour?
It was wickedly awful would be Andy Geegan.
Ah, really?
Oh, even today, I still see Andy. Anytime he's up, he always comes out, and he was obviously a goalkeeper with me. And Andy's jokes, and he's still telling jokes. When he sees you, he's still got a joke for you, and they've not improved, I can assure you.
Did you have any superstitions?
Yeah, the superstition I had most was a tie. There was a lad, Jock Shearer. My wife was a teacher at Quarry Hill in Northfield. She was a primary 7 teacher. But anyway, one of the other teachers was a lad, Jock Shearer. And he was a sort of knitter or something. He had these hand knitted ties. And he knitted one for me, you know. So it was an awful tie. But I wore it to the first cup game that I played in 1970 against Clydebank.
Yeah.
So we won that one. So the next one was at Falkirk Tie was on again. I won that. The next one was Kilmarnock, the semi-final at Muirton. Tie on again. I think when I turned up to travel with the boys for the final at Hampden, all they worried about did I bring the tie?
Really?
So I wore the tie, and we beat Celtic, of course, in the final, 3-1, and I've never wore the tie since. That was
No
it.
way, really.
It was cup tie Mackay in that final, but this was my cup tie. This was my cup tie. So there you are.
When did you first start wearing goalie gloves?
There wasn't these fancy goalie gloves as now. When the ball was dry, you always used your hands. You know, it was always hands. But when the ball was wet, there's these little cotton gloves, and they were actually the inners for wicket keepers' gloves.
Uh-huh.
You know, if you're a wicket keeper, you had these cotton gloves inside, and these were these cotton gloves, and it was they were really good. And you only wore them if it was wet, because we didn't have. I wish I did. That was one thing that the modern gloves make catching wet balls so much easier than it was. We had these cotton gloves, and then you had Well, I actually remember playing before they had the white balls. You had the old brown leather balls, and then the cotton gloves were really good in these these balls. But once it came to the more the modern laminated white balls, it was still quite difficult catching a wet ball. But the cotton gloves were the answer.
Okay. Who are you winning an argument with? Sir Alex Ferguson or Ali MacLeod?
Yeah. Look, Ali, you never win an argument with a manager. So the best thing is you just don't get into an argument with either, because you're not going to win. Well, Ali will always think he's won, regardless. And Fergie would be tough to beat in an argument, I tell you. He's pretty sharp cookie. So I think I just wouldn't get into an argument with either.
Did you ever have a club car, and can you remember what make it was?
No, not in these days. There's no club car. The only car I did get was I played in Copenhagen in the qualifier for the 1974 World Cup.
Yeah.
And Vauxhall gave all the guys that were involved in the qualifications for that World Cup, for the 74 World Cup, they gave them a car. I think it was something like a VX 490. It's possibly the biggest car I'd ever had at that time in my life. You know, I was always a Vauxhall Viva guy. You know, yeah, it was different days, but we thought it was great. We got this car for a year, so it gave us two cars then. You see,
nice. What is your favourite piece of Aberdeen memorabilia?
Yeah, it would be the three cup, the 70 cup winners medal, the 76 League Cup, and the league medal. But I've lost the league medal. Do you know that?
No.
I don't know where it is.
No.
It was somewhere in America. I don't know how it's gone or where it's gone. So I don't have my league medal. So I don't know. But anyway,
the championship medal or the league?
Yeah, the championship medal. Yeah.
No. You know what's going to happen? It's going to turn up. It's just going to turn up randomly inside a book or something like that.
Yeah, it'll turn up. So well,
let's hope so.
I never look at the other medals now anyway. But they're all the memories are there. As long as you've got the memory, that's all that counts.
Yeah. What was your most memorable game?
My most memorable game, I think, maybe all the two finals obviously were special. Both games at Parkhead, you know, when we won the league was special. And then obviously when you kind of clinched it at Easter Road. So I don't know which. I mean, the clinching it at Easter Road, you were more concerned about what was happening with Celtic at Love Street at St Mirren. So I wouldn't say that, although it was very exciting because we knew we'd won the league. But the ones that were really nerve-wracking and took a lot was the games against Celtic, both games against Celtic. And, you know, that year, you know, we'd beaten Celtic home and away in the League Cup. We'd beaten Rangers home and away in the League Cup. So that was 3 times we'd gone to Parkhead and won. Because the League Cup, we beat them 1-0. We'd beaten them 3-2 at Pittodrie in the first leg of because it was a 2-legged thing then, the League Cup. And then we took the second leg, we to go to Parkhead holding a 1-goal lead. And then we won 1-0 again. So, yeah, I don't know. There was a lot of good games then. But we'll just say I've been lucky. I had a lot of memorable games. That was it.
Do you have an all-time favourite save?
Favorite? Yeah, it's an interesting. It's not one. I would be about 14 years old at the time, and I was playing for Sandy Hills YMCA in the YM leagues. And we were playing at Postle Park in Glasgow, and there was about 4 or 5 pitches all side by side. And the team I was playing, we conceded a penalty. So, everybody that's looking at games all stops to watch a penalty being taken. So obviously there was an under-18 game going on the adjacent field to us, So obviously, anyway, the guy took a penalty, and I had a very good save. And little been on to me, there was 2 guys watching the under-18 game that were actually selectors for the Scottish YM team. And they hadn't thought of looking at an under-16 game. Anyway, at the end of the game, they'd watched my game all the way through, the 2 of them, and they came up to our manager, our coach of the Sandy Hills team, the under-16 team, and said, "Is your goalkeeper, does he always play like that?" And it was Alec Jimison was our manager, our coach. And he said, "Oh yeah, he's always great, He said, "Well, we were still looking for a goalkeeper for the under-18s national team." And he said, "Well, so could we get him next week? The bottom team in the under-18 league is playing against the top team. And could we get him and put him in the bottom team?" And Alex says, yeah, that's no problem. So I end up playing for the bottom team in the under-18 league. And I think we lost 2-0. But obviously I impressed enough to be selected with the Scottish YM team that we went down to play in Wales. And we beat Wales 1-0. And I would only be 14, it was an under-18 thing, so I was young. But that was the first bit of glory that I got, because after I wasn't playing in the school selects, because I went to rugby playing school after 12. I was playing in the Glasgow select as a youngster, but then when I went to Glasgow High School, I couldn't. They didn't play football, and the Glasgow schools wouldn't pick somebody from outside of the school's football. So I actually played rugby in the morning and football in the afternoon. So that was but that was a save I felt like put me into prominence in sort of Glasgow, Glasgow football.
Fantastic. What was the best goal that you ever saw during your time with Aberdeen?
There's a lot of good ones. Obviously, Cup time Mackay's goals in the cup final were great. Davy Robb's goal to win the League Cup wasn't the best goal. Every time I watch it, I think he's going to miss it still. Yeah, he slapped it in there. But it was a vital goal. I think if I think of the best sort of just goal, it would be, we played Celta Vigo the first time we were ever in the UEFA Cup. We played Celta Vigo, the Spanish team, and I'd played in the first leg in Vigo, and we won 2-0. And they were a good team at that time. Vigo were about 3rd or 4th in the Spanish league. Anyway, when they came back, I tore my medial ligaments quite badly in the game in Vigo. So I couldn't play in the second game. Andy Geegan, the joke teller, Andy was in goals in the second game. We were 2-0 up from the first leg, but it was 0-0 right up till about, and I was just watching from the stand. And Andy had a shutout. It was all going really well. And then Joe hit this one from it 25 yards into the roof. What a great goal. So I think, and it's good because I wasn't in goals, I wasn't playing, I was just watching that goal. And I think we won 1-0 with an 89th minute goal. And I would say, anyone that remembers that goal, it was a special goal. So that took us into the next round, 3-0. Then we played Juventus in the next game. So I think Joe might have scored in that one again. We lost 2-0 in Turin, and then we drew 1-1 at Pittodrie. So I think it was Joe scored. And obviously Juventus were a very good team of that era.
If you could turn back the clock and change one result from your time with Aberdeen, what result would you like to change?
No question there, really. I think it was. I had been runner-up in the league, I think, 3 times. Twice in the last game of the season. The first time that happened would have been in 1971. It would be the penultimate game. We played Celtic at Pittodrie, and we were top of the league. And we had beaten Celtic at Parkhead 1-0 back in December, and we had led the league all the way through up until this game, almost, or just at the end of the league. But we had them at Pittodrie, and if we had beaten them that day, I think we would have won the league. We lost it by 2 points. It was 2 points for a win, and then, but it was very close, and we tied 1-1 at Pittodrie, and it was just. It was after the fire at Pittodrie, and it was hard. The ground just dried up very hard, and it was a bumpy, hard surface. And I felt a run in the league, we started to drop points that we shouldn't have dropped. Just not getting beaten, but drawing with teams like Motherwell, St Mirren type things. And then we drew with Celtic. Harry Hood scored. He actually scored about 4 minutes into the game. It was a huge crowd, about 36,000 at Pittodrie that day. And then I think it was, who was it scored for us? I think it was actually Alec Willoughby. I mentioned it, Alec earlier. He tied the game up. And I remember Arthur Graham had a fabulous chance to score. And he actually did really well. And he hit it. He was past the goalie and he hit it, and Billy McNeil kicked it off the line, and that was it. And then, well, they went on and won the league. And we actually our last game of the season was at Brockville against Falkirk, and we lost it 1-0. It was a penalty, and we lost 1-0. But I also honestly feel if we had won that game against Celtic, we'd have won the league. So that would have been nice. I'd get two league medals then. I wouldn't have lost it. Maybe I would have, at least. So there you go.
Right, Bobby, this is your final question, and it's no doubt going to be the most important question that you'll ever face. Bad Boys Inc. or Bay City Rollers?
I'm sorry, Ali. I don't know if I've heard of either of them.
No.
I was once on a Pop Scotch or some Grampian TV pop program. They got the wrong guy. They got me. I don't know how the hell I was on this. And they asked me who was my favorite group. And I told them the Clancy Brothers. And you've maybe not heard of the Clancy Brothers, but they're the Irish folk band. So I was more of an Irish folk band guy than the Bay City Rollers. I do know the Beatles, but that's about it. So sorry to disappoint. I know I've upset you. This program's all about honesty.
Bobby, thank you so much. It's been absolutely brilliant.
Okay, well, good. Well, you take care. All right.
I will. Thanks, Bobby.
Be in touch. My pleasure. Okay, bye now.